it's Mike and Steve with Real Estate on Record. We're back again, and this topic, what are we doing today, Stefano?
All right, let's start off with the rise of co-living spaces, exploring the shared housing trend, cohabiting.
The new way.
It's been happening forever, though, right? Just we got spoiled for a bit.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
a lot of people are forced into it now,
Yeah.
just out of affordability, right? Especially with the new rate hikes and payments going up, you're gonna have no choice but to live with multi-generational living,
Yeah.
especially.
It always goes back. Sorry, on what I'm saying about like Europe, right? It's the same idea. It's an
Yeah.
old country that's been through a lot more, let's say, bangs and bruises than we have here in Canada. So because it's a very young country, and so that's been happening there forever, and that's what's happening here. We're starting to see like. Let's say retirees, baby boomers retiring, they're either buying a larger house with their children that can't afford a big house but need it with the kids, and they're like, we'll retire, we'll get a walkout basement, I'll live in the basement, you guys have, you know what I mean, and then I'll watch the kids while you guys are at work, do their duty.
And is there a lot of restricted areas still that you can't rent out the basement or the upstairs? It's got to be either the whole
I think
house or nothing.
didn't they just open those laws?
So yeah, they opened the law like where you can make it like a legal triplex. Now anyone like if it's not legal, your neighbor could call and report it, and the city could come. I've heard of it happening to people. Does it happen often? I really don't think so. At the end of the day, like if I didn't need to rent, like we rented out our basement. If someone came to me and said, "You gotta do all these things to make it legal," and I didn't need the money, I'm just gonna say, "Okay, kick out my tenant," and Toronto loses another rental. Good for you.
Yeah.
So do you want me to make it legal? Or you don't want me to make it legal, right? If I didn't need the money. Then if you force someone to go and do a legal duplex, there's a big added cost, right? There's fire separation, there's all kinds of
Well,
stuff.
there is a significant cost.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, Steve did it in what 2020 for 100 grand.
Yeah, I overbuilt it.
Well, there's a lot of regulation too, right? Like certain ceiling heights through exits and stuff like that, just because of fire code and stuff, right? Which I get it. Just they're trying to get away from like the slumlords. I just put 30 people in a house and there's no fire exits, right? So I get it. But at the end of the day, when we did our rentals, we kept all that in mind and did them as close as we can to code without we didn't get a permit. But at the end of the day, if someone ever pinched me, I'm just not going to rent it out.
Yeah, I think for me, I'm just very paranoid with being. I'm always in my life. I'm paranoid not to be prepared. You know what I mean? If you have an opportunity to prepare, you should be prepared. That's my whole life. Doesn't matter what I'm doing. So let's just say even my listing in Alliston, my house, my investment property rather, I could have easily just banged that thing out quickly and I don't get a permit, just go, right? But I'm always afraid of, God forbid, insurance, and then somebody gets hurt. You know, it's a duplex. Something happens. Now, I didn't do it with any permits, so what happens? Like, does the insurance company renege and say, well, we're not going to insure it? Like, they always have that choice if they don't want to pay you. You know, it's always that threat. And I don't want to be put in that situation. So when I did mine, we got it inspected. You got to see, like, the long list of things. The inspectors that came out, they were like, this is, like, the first one in Alliston. Like, because everyone just rents. They don't give a shit. They cut a hole in the side of the house, and then you get yourself a tenant. But mine's overbuilt, fire suppression. It's not really fire. It is a fire suppression system.
It's a shutdown.
Shuts down, yeah. But it's okay.
No,
fair enough.
fire suppression would be like
Sprinkler heads.
So is
Fair
this
enough.
paranoia maybe?
It's not. It's being prepared. It's like I'm exercising daily so I don't have a fucking heart attack when I'm
But
50.
it seems like you're over-preparing when it comes to...
No, that's technically the way you're supposed to do it.
It's the only way to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or else I'd have to put sprinklers. But this is it's a less expensive way, and it does the same job, right?
Would you say that there's far more opportunity for you in regards to growing a better and bigger future for yourself?
Listen, let's start from the top. Like, we always, as people, we think that we are like, that's it. We were born here. This is our root, and that's it. We're done. We can never move away. And I've thought like that too. It's like my parents live in Woodbridge. I moved to Bolton, then I moved to Nobleton. I made sure it was in that 10, 15-minute radius to them, right? That would make sense. But, you know, at the end, what is our life, like, again, you want to get whatever, like more into life rather than real estate, but what's our purpose in life? It's to better the next generation. Think about it. Like, to give your kids a better life. So how do you do that? Your job as a parent is to give them a better life. You're going to try to get them into the better schools. If you can afford private, you're going to go private. You're going to get them into sports. You're going to try to get them into competitive sports. You're going to bet on your kids more than anything. I think majority of the parents can agree with that, right? So COVID happens here in Canada, and it's like, and this is before COVID, because we just being self-employed and everything. You just the burden of like trying to be a capitalist here. Maybe it's because we're small and we're trying to break through this layer. Maybe if you're uber wealthy, it doesn't matter to you anymore. Potentially, I don't know. But it's like someone like us that we work 100-hour weeks. We blood, sweat, and tears. Like everything looks great from the outside, but you don't know the inside. Like my brain is always on. Mike's same shit. Like we're always fuck. It's like it's
3
never
o'clock in the morning waking up.
Yeah,
You
I
can't
saw your
sleep.
emails at 4 a.m. But nothing ever comes, and you never shut down. You're always thinking the next move, and you're always trying to build on something. And it's like a fight here all the time. The heavy taxation in Canada. Then it's like, okay, we want to develop, and it's the development charges. They raised them fucking 50% this year.
And 40% 3 years ago.
50%. It's wild how our like standards of living are so low right now, and we're paying so high for it. So again, going back to COVID, then COVID happens, and it's like, what do you do now? Your kids need a future. Like, so you're in Canada, you got heavy taxation. Capitalism's not a really great place to be a capitalist. Anybody that wants to do something or become something, either there's professional sports, music, big business, whatever, they all move to the States. Like Kevin O'Leary is, if everybody knows him, right? Mr. Wonderful. But I mean, he talks about it. He said, I could never have done what I've done personally in Canada. In Canada, it has to be done in the United States. It's the American dream, right? The restrictions, the new bills being passed by our current government that's taken away a lot of freedom of speech. Like the future doesn't look very like I wouldn't want my kids to be here for too long. I'm going to be honest. That's the whole point of that. The Florida move is to give them more of an open market. Does America have their issues? 1,000%. But they all have opportunities there, because if you look at, you're in Europe, you're in the EU, right? Every country is basically like a state of America. Every state is a different country, like Europe is. Like Italy's very small, then there's Spain, then there's Portugal, there's all this stuff. But you're part of the EU, so you can travel and work through that whole section. Canada, what are we doing here? If you're only going to be here in Southern Ontario if you want to make the max amount of money. I could be wrong, but I mean, this is from my experience. Maybe someone can tell me something different, maybe. But if my kids, and I always give this example, if they go, let's say Nicholas goes to school to become an engineer, he wants to build bridges. It's a simple analogy, right? Where the hell is he going to build a bridge here in Canada, let's say? All the money that it's taken us from taxation, it's not like they're building up the city. Our subway systems are like ridiculously like mediocre, and then there's
infrastructure in general.
It's terrible. So where is all this money going? To healthcare, it's terrible.
Calgary is booming. So my question to you is,
Calgary's booming off of people affordability. People can't afford here, or Vancouver, they go there. Look at Calgary 10 years ago. What was booming there? The oil industry. It went to shit. Calgary depleted. It was gone. Now it's coming back because it's basically marketing to get people to move to Calgary because you can't afford Toronto or Vancouver. So what's propping up the market? Yes, obviously there's some tech and stuff going there. Great. But at the end of the day, those guys move out of town. There goes your industry.
But Mike, it's $287,000 for a condo.
Yeah,
Over
but
here you need $1 million.
Yeah, but
who wants to live
it's
there?
a quality of life, buddy. Come on. But ultimately, like weather is part of happiness, right? Outdoor living, activities, quality of life. Like, what are you gonna do there? Like, I don't get it. It's so cold.
Like immigration. 65% of immigrants that come to Canada stay in.
It's 50. Isn't it 50%, or is it higher now?
Sorry, maybe 55, not 65. It come to on GTA basically, right? We have a family friend that came 7 years ago, and to get her green card was forced. Basically, to get it faster, moved to Calgary, got it within a year, then moved to Saskatchewan, hated both of them, and now she's in Victoria. Well, like, if we push, okay, we have 55%, if we push the rest of the immigrants there, they're not going to stay there. They're giving opportunity there, and they still don't want to stay there.
Yeah, they'll bounce back,
Victoria,
So
once
you
they
don't-
can
you don't
afford
think
to.
It's even the right decision if people say they want to move out east or out west. in Canada?
For the right person, it is 100%. Like not that Florida, and for the right person, Florida.
Yeah.
Right,
It's
like,
not for
it's
everybody. It's not for everybody.
No,
Yeah.
What
no.
about, like,
For
New
me,
Brunswick,
no chance.
Nova Scotia,
No.
that area.
No.
You also still
Like
don't agree?
no, New Brunswick and Nova Scotia, I can go buy a cash flowing asset tomorrow. Like I'll be making 2-3 grand
So
a
why
month.
wouldn't you do that for
Because the
people who are gonna ask?
appreciation's junk. There's no appreciation. I mean, big deal. I'm making 12 grand a year, but I gotta deal with a property manager like so far away, and to make 12 grand, there's no appreciation. Florida is the market. Texas, Florida is where I'm getting that the landlord friendly rules. I'm getting cash flow and I'm getting appreciation, right?
Well said, Michael. If the returns are not here, and then if you look at the economy, like so, if Florida, okay, if you don't like Florida, who cares, right? But if you like money and you like opportunity, I think everybody can agree with that, right? So if you're gonna make like Mike was saying, appreciation. You got great landlord. Landlord tenant act is like in favor of the landlord. We control that property. It's our money, our risk. We control that. Obviously, you don't want to be an ass with it. You're going to be respectful to your tenants, but if they're not going to control my asset, they're not the destiny of my asset. I'm going to control it the way I want to make sure it's profitable. Okay, no rent control. I can jack up if the inflation's up. If gas goes up $300 a year extra because of, or $300. Let's for example, $300 a month extra. Once that contract's over, I can say, hey, I need $300 more to cover my expense and still have my initial passive income that I like. I like that passive income. Okay. So here in Toronto, or in Canada, in Toronto rather, I think Edmonton, they don't have rent control either. I think you can go ape there too. But it's like, here it's 2.5% this year.
This year during the pandemic.
Okay,
it was
so
zero.
let's do a beautiful number. So look at this. 2.5%. Okay. Do you agree that things cost more than 2.5% today to run a household?
Definitely.
Yes or no?
Definitely.
Okay. So I'm charging the lady upstairs on that duplex $18.72. It used to be $18.50, but we did one price adjustment. We made $22 extra per month. So $18.72 times 2.5% is $46.80 I can raise. Can you agree that doesn't make sense? I told my tenants, like, and again, we can do this lawfully in Canada because of the rent control and the percentage. So it's like, hey, listen, we had to remortgage the property because we cut, like, long story short, you must have heard this 1,000 times. We cut the 2 lots off the back. We had an original mortgage. Scotia found out, didn't like that. There's 100 feet missing in the backyard. So, but you got to do these things, right? If you want to get ahead. So we have to refine. We knew we had to do this at some point. So we changed the title, cut 100 feet off the back. Now Scotia is like not too happy with it. So we have to get a new mortgage, which we knew. So we get a new mortgage. And it's like we do like a 1 year, hopefully in a year from now, the rates come down a bit and that's it. So we have to lock into like a B bank or whatever that is. And it's like, I think it's 7% currently right now. So that brings me from like, again, this profit is dwindling. Like this used to be a $1,500 passive income per month and dwindling because of inflation. It was down to like 1,000, right? And then now with this rate increase or whatever the hell we were at now is basically taking it down to 0. So there's no profit. So I'm holding as an investor. I know the longer you hold, the better you are. I get it. We're all on the same page. But I'm holding a depreciating asset, making no money and dealing with tenant problems. I don't like that. That's like an abusive relationship to me, okay?
And the best part about it is if you had to go rent that unit out today, you'd be getting $2,500.
Easy.
Right? So, yeah,
Yeah.
that's the hard part about
Yeah.
it. You can reach me on Instagram at Mike Gary Realtor or at 647-294-3475 or Steve.
Yeah, hey guys, you can just reach us out 647-962-4372 or just DM us on Instagram at Steve Zelenardo or just drop a line here on YouTube. We'll go from there. Treviso is at Treviso Realty, Instagram, for all your Florida needs. Yeah.